My guest this afternoon, one of the most recognized faces in America. He hosts American Bandstand from 1956 through 1989. Spent the past 26 years ringing in the new year with us. He's affectionately known as America's oldest teenager, and he can be heard right here on Oldies 98.9 every Sunday morning, hosting a program called Rock, Roll, and Remember. Of course, I'm talking about Dick Clark. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Adam. That's quite a dossier you have there. You've got my complete history in a thumbnail sketch.
Well, you know what? You are one of the most difficult people to interview because where do you start? You've done everything.
You pick a subject, push a button, and we'll talk.
Now, on American Bandstand, you played the records, the kids danced, millions of Americans watched. How were you able to do this for over 3 decades, and other people before, during, and after you never succeeded at what you tried to do?
I think probably Bandstand was the most copied format in the world, Adam. I think one of the things most of the copycats forgot was to put the emphasis on the kids and their relationships and what they meant to each other. I mean, the host role was stay out of the way. We had the benefit of having thousands of acts perform. It was just a great combination.
Now, what was it about you that allowed you to relate to teenagers while you're 30, 40, 60 years old?
For some reason or other, I've always felt more comfortable in the company of people that are younger than I. Now, the world is younger than I, but it was true most of my life.
You've admitted to knowing almost nothing about rock and roll when you inherited Bandstand and when you got started in radio. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was a pop music and jazz enthusiast, and I had been a country music disc jockey, so the rock thing was new to me, but I fell into it because of the background. I loved rhythm and blues, and I loved country music, and pretty soon they combined. There's a great thing, Adam, I've said for years and years. Music is the soundtrack of our life. And as you play this stuff, I'm thinking about all the things that happen to me personally and professionally. It's a great treat.
Well, you've heard all these songs a million times.
Yeah, but you never ever get tired of them. That's the secret for WORC and any other radio station that plays this classic stuff. It's part of our lives.
How do you keep it exciting? How do you keep it fresh?
Well, when my kids were young, I'd find a favorite record and I would play it over and over and over, sort of like the opposite of what normally happens with kids and their parents. Right. I don't get tired of repetition. It just brings back so many good things.
Now, you've heard them all, you've played them all, you've introduced us to most of them. If you had to pick Dick Clark's favorite record, is that possible?
In all honesty, Adam, I've been asked that for 40-some-odd years, and I've never, ever nailed it down to one song. Because the truth of it is, I've dealt with thousands of artists, and I don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
You're very impolite.
In addition to being a great host, you're also a terrific businessman. You made your first $1 million by the age of 30?
Yeah, the money is always a nice thing to have. It's a convenience, Adam, and it buys you, things when you need them. And it has, it's always been a part of my life. But I treasure good health and work I enjoy, and the fact that you get paid to do it is amazing. I mean, I've been at this game 54 years. They first gave me my paycheck when I was 17. That's terrific.
Were you always motivated by money?
No, I got into radio because it was the first thing I saw when I was 13 that said, that looks like fun. When I went to school, I studied business administration. They were going to put me into advertising, and I found that a little dry. And somebody offered me a radio job as a performer, which I hadn't planned, and that was fun. Now, well, how can it get any better to receive payment for fun that is allegedly work? We don't tell the bosses this.
Exactly. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. That's the reason I got into it as well. Now, what motivates you today?
I think the thing that keeps me charged up is always trying to tackle something I haven't done before. We're working on a Broadway show and a motion picture, and goodness only knows 40 or 50 television shows, maybe 1 or 2 of which will catch fire, but it's the activity. I love it.
What has a man like you not yet accomplished? What do you still want to do that you haven't yet done?
Well, I think that Broadway show is something I'd like to get done. I've tried twice before and failed. If we can pull this one out of the fire, it would be nice.
What about on a personal level?
Personal level, I wish I had learned. I wish I had stayed with my piano lessons. I guess it's never too late. I'm told you can go with that at any age. I think maybe one of these days I'll sit down there and try to learn more than the 2 songs I know.
Yeah, sure. You have nothing but time on your hands, right? Now, some of the business ventures, like, for example, TV's Bloopers and Practical Jokes and $10,000 Pyramid, was that something that they approached you with, or did you come up with the idea on your own and go to them?
Well, the Pyramid was a job. I was hired by a man named Bob Stewart who used to create shows for Goodson and Todman, and the Pyramid was one of his first big ventures, and I said, I love it. I think it's great. I think I did it for about 15 years. I've been real lucky, Adam. Bloopers is now 20 years. We got that format from England 20-some-odd years ago. It's been on NBC. It's currently on ABC. As a matter of fact, we're doing 2 of them right now. And, in addition to 38 years of American Bandstand on the air and 29 years of New Year's Eve and 29 years of American Music Awards, it's rare to find things that last so long. I've been real lucky.
How is Dick Clark going to know it's time to stop working? Is that time ever going to come?
Well, that time will happen, God forbid, if my health falls apart. Other than that, I would like to just keep charging along until the man upstairs or whoever's there says, okay, that's it, you're done.
Nobody looks better than you, Dick Clark. You're signed on to do New Year's Rocking Eve through 2005. If you had to hand-pick a successor to take that job over, to ring in the new year with us each year, who would you select?
I don't know who that guy is right now, and 5 years from now it'll be somebody different from the person we would select today. So we'll take care of that when the time comes.
Dick Clark has been a gracious guest. His radio program, Rock, Roll, and Remember, can be heard Sunday morning starting at 7 o'clock right here on Oldies 98.9. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you, and thanks so much for your time.
Adam, I not only appreciate your talking to me, but I appreciate your playing Rock, Roll, and Remember. See, I can't even say the title. There's a blooper for you. Rock, Roll, and Remember on 98.9. It is always a joy. Thank you. Hi, this is Dick Clark, and you're listening to Adam Webster with the hits of the 60s and 70s on Oldies 98.9.